There we go. How's my sound? Anybody here? Anybody here? Somebody give me a sound check. Zach is here. Zach, give me a sound check. Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and it is Friday, November 10th at 12 noon Pacific time, and it's really loud in here. Maybe I should leave. There we go. Which way should we be? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. There. Get to horizontal. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Apparently, it won't let you do that. I don't know why. Okay, here we are doing seminar prep for Wildman Athletica. Sound is working well. Copy. There we are. Greetings from Germany. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the training space. We are working furiously in here to prepare for tomorrow's seminar. We have a smaller group, as we like to have for the first year. I give myself a list of things to do. We try not to go over 15 people in a new space. We're building out this space currently. As you can see in the back here is our brand new giant bells of steel rack that we just got put together, and back here all the motorcycles. We have 4 more pallets of gear that we haven't opened yet. We will get there maybe this afternoon. Right now we're cleaning the space. We were building giant spider webs for the When We Were Young festival that was just in Vegas. So we're constantly converting back and forth between Batman training facility, special effects shop, and custom car shop because it's fun that way. Let's see what we have here. Hello from Australia. We have Rochester, New York. We got lots of people coming in. Let's see. We're currently constructing walls out of giant Legos. We're building an editing station in here with giant Legos. And of course, we have our all-electric 1959 MG. Let's see if we can't find a generally quiet place in order to do this. Announcements. Seminar tomorrow. If you haven't signed up, it's probably a little bit late. We have another seminar coming up December 9th and 10th with the Flowing Dutchman. It's the Flowing Dutchman's thing, but we're going to do it here. He will be teaching mace and club. We have a giant order from Adex on its way here right now for that seminar, and we will be using custom maces from Badland Outfitters. Let's see if we can't go find one of the custom maces that we will be using. Truck, mural, where's our custom? Custom maces. Badland Outfitters, armored boo-hurt fighters, so we don't make anything for show. It's all made for actual force-on-force violence. Did I lose it for a second? I don't know why I just lost signal here. Did I lose signal? No, it's going back. I shouldn't lose signal anywhere in this property. It's crazy. Let's see if I open that door and put this giant welder in front of it, if that'll solve the problem. Well, we lost the welder, but we got the rack. There we go. Thailand retreat. The Thailand retreat is the best seminar of the year by far. It's 5 days. The facility last year hadn't been fully completed. It was still the best experience you're ever going to have in training. The Thailand facility is now fully complete as an aerial studio, gardens, ponds, the whole thing. It is the fanciest experience I will ever be involved in because my friend runs it, who is a circus performer. They're running an aerial retreat right there now. They'll be doing one right before we get there, so we'll probably be crossing in and out with a bunch of circus performers at that facility. And that is up by Chiang Mai in Thailand. If you're not signed up for that, sign up for that. That's the best one. We'll have an entire schedule coming up for 2024. Most of it will be based here at the Art Asylum. We will have our schedule for that up probably by December so that you can plan all the things. We're going to be in the future teaching these as kettlebell seminars. club seminars, and then there will be staff mace seminars and pure staff seminars. And then hopefully next year we're actually going to get to do all the fun Batman stuff where we actually expand into things like armored situation fighting or armored, what's it called? I'm losing the words right now. I've been awake too long. Basically force on force training in the fun way. We'll keep working on that. Is my connection better, guys? Somebody says my connection is unstable. Is it better now? It says I have full signal, but who knows? Here's a question we're going to start with from Andrew Phillip. Equipment maintenance question. Do you sand, oil, brush your adjustable kettlebell handles? They seem shiny in your videos. You say you beat them up. Mine get very rusty. I have a lot of those kettlebells. So I have some that are all rusted handles, and I do not oil them. Absolutely not in any way do I oil them ever. I let them get rusty because I don't use chalk. I like the grip that rust and corrosion on those handles gives me. If they are other types of things, then that is different. None of my club handles have any rust on them, but it's a different type of grip. I have different kettlebells all over the place. I have kettlebells back east. I think I have 4 back east now. We now have, I think, 16 adjustable kettlebells here on top of all of my classic kettlebells that I've had for years. The heavy fixed weight competition ones that cost, $10,000 when you buy the whole set, which never go bad. You don't really need those if you have adjustable kettlebells. It saves you all that time and all that space. I think we have 36 kettlebells in here, and that's about half of the kettlebells I own. Some people do polish their kettlebell handles. They use an emery cloth and they'll drag it over their handles. And some people keep their handles really shiny and bright, and those are the guys who use a ton of chalk. I don't use a ton of chalk because I simply don't have that much time. I don't have time to do chalk and all kinds of other things. I just go downstairs, pick up kettlebells, and work out. I hope that answered your question, but no, I absolutely never, ever, ever put oil on my kettlebell handles, ever. It's back. Okay, so my connection is more stable now. Will a London seminar happen again in 2024? Yes, it will. We are going to work on our London seminar again this year. Instead of being in February, we think it's going to be in late March or early April. We had some ideas on locations. I just didn't like them. I didn't think they were cool enough. I want to go to London and I want to go to cool ass spots. So we have a gentleman over there and he's setting things up, and he found an absolutely huge space, but it's just like a high school gymnasium, which I don't really like. I'd rather train someplace that looks cool, because if the training location looks cool and feels cool, the whole situation is better. If you train in a giant white box with basketball hoops in it, overall there's a negative association that people have with that type of thing. There's a reason that cool gyms look cool. Like Onnit Academy in Austin looks cool. Mine's going to end up looking like that. As you can see, we've already started the muraling process. Inside here, we're going to end up with murals everywhere. Every building here will eventually be covered in murals, because people feel better and they train harder when they are in a cool location. I am not a fan of modern architecture almost at all, because I think it's dehumanizing and soulless and monstrous. If we're going to go to London, I would like to go someplace that looks actively cool inside. So it might be London. We might team up with Sports Therapy Scotland as well to do some seminars in Scotland, because I like Glasgow, because Glasgow looks like Gotham City. Literally, Glasgow was one of the original ideas for what Gotham City should look like. It's absolutely beautiful. I would like to find big ass spaces that look like that are either stone inside, old churches, old halls, in order to train in there, because just overall the whole experience is way, way, way better. So we are working on that idea, and we are going to make it better. The last 5-day that we did in August was on Orcas Island, and it was amazing because we went out and we trained on the side of a mountain in a forest. you know, way up on the side of a mountain on unlevel ground in the most beautiful forest I had ever seen. Basically, the forest from Return of the Jedi, with the Ewok forest, right? So when you're training in crazy locations like that, everything is better. You remember more, you try harder, everything about the experience is better. Thailand is amazing. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. No matter which direction you go, we're going to train at temples in Thailand. So I want to source a really cool location. It doesn't even have to be like an ancient place or anything like that. It just has to be some place that feels cool. I personally would love to go to the Northern Islands in Scotland. I went up there last year to Skara Brae, and just the giant standing stone circles up there that are 9,000 years old. I want to do a seminar there in the middle of the giant standing stone circles, because good training combined with something like that is absolutely amazing and a life-changing experience. So all training should be some type of life-changing experience that you should not be able to possibly forget. So I want to get away from bland rooms, and I want to get back to the coolest locations we can possibly get to. We will have some seminars next year, I think, in Montana. We're going to be teaming up with a Badlands firefighter out there so that we can do our training out in Montana in the mountains, because I love the Montana mountains. I really like outside dope locations. If we're going to train in London, I want to train wherever I don't get arrested, because London's got crazy weapons laws. People like the adjustable kettlebells. I'm going to read a couple of comments here, see if I can't find some questions. If you guys put questions in, label the question. It's a kettlebell question, it's a seminar question, it's a live training question, it's a how to learn question, and then follow that with the question, just so I can read it as that setup right there, and then move on from there. Connection is great. People say the connection is great. On the subject of seminars, excellent way to open. Will you ever come to Australia, either the west or the eastern coast? I would love to come to Australia. I just don't know anybody in Australia. The only people I know in Australia are like actors who live on the coast, but they're not going to be the guys who are going to help me set up seminars there. You know, they're the only people I know are like actors. They're the only people I know in Australia. I don't know any martial art. No, I do know one guy. Jared runs a Krav Maga school there. He runs a Krav Maga school there. Maybe we could do that. I don't know. I have not explored the idea. Nobody has offered a location yet, and I have never been to Australia. I've been all over North America. I've been to Canada. I've been to China. I've been to Japan. I've been tons of places in Europe. I've been to Morocco. I've never been to Australia. For the most part, I worked on movies, and movies tend not to shoot very much in Australia. Sorry, they're moving equipment right behind me here. There's loud wheel noises. So if anybody's got a location or knows a good spot in Australia, I'm willing to entertain it. I just don't know. Frankly, I don't even know if they let Americans in Australia anymore. Let's see here. Let's turn this a little bit more. All right, my buddy here says, one of my welder friends here says he's got a place in Australia. So we'll investigate that. Somebody just gave me some suggestions for the UK. Ladbroke legal graffiti walls. No, that's not a location. This is a location. Leek Street Tunnel in Edinburgh Castle. Dude, they're not going to let us do a seminar at Edinburgh Castle. I love Edinburgh Castle. I've been to it a bunch. We shot a movie right around the corner from there up at Arthur's Seat. That's where we stayed at that super fancy hotel at the bottom of Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat is the one from Train Spotting. There's a ancient castle right around the corner there. We shot movie there, and then I think we went to a movie premiere meeting at like Edinburgh Castle. I don't know. I had a great kilt though. The guys from that Arthur's Seat hotel, I can't remember what it's called, hooked me up with the sweetest kilt I've ever seen. Question: did Mark and crew name the warehouse? Yeah, it was a collective decision. It's called the Art Asylum. because my friend is a special effects guy. He really likes that name. So the warehouse is named the Art Asylum. There's a big sign right there that we knocked out one night. It's going to get better over time. I want it to look more like the Addams Family script, but this is what was our test sign up there. You can't really see it, but it does light up and change colors. Any seminars planned near Virginia? Once again, don't know anything about Virginia. We are looking for a location that's more central in the Smoky Mountains, preferably the Cumberland Plateau, because I really like the Cumberland Plateau and I really like the history associated with the Cumberland Plateau, which means probably something Nashville. I know a guy, I think it's another Jared, in Lexington, who's absolutely amazing. I forget people's names when I'm talking a lot. You're fine, Turtle. You're fine. So no seminars currently planned near Virginia, but if anybody knows a good spot, somebody let me know. Here's a question on programs. What's the difference between the Clean and Press and the Clean and Press Reloaded programs? So the Clean and Press program and the Clean and Press Reloaded program go together. The Clean and Press program, all these programs are absolutely stupidly large, right? And they've required, I think there's 1,000 follow-along videos or something in that whole setup. And there's the book that we put out with it is hundreds of pages of follow-along charts based on the weights that people have. 1 weight, 2 weight, 3 weight, 5 weight, 7 weight, 9 weights with the weights that were available then. I finished that before I got my competition kettlebell, which has half K jumps. So at some point, we should probably update that to get more output on the path for that. The Clean and Press program is the basic Clean and Press program that everybody should do. The Reloaded program is more complexity. Oftentimes, something like the Reloaded program comes in when people do not want to go up in weight. There are certain people that don't want to go up in weight. High fashion models don't want to go up beyond 12K in weight, so we add complexity to the system to keep them progressing for long periods of time without having to go up in weight. The simple program, just Clean and Press, is designed to get people to go up in weight. So it's the simpler idea. Reloaded is 3 extra simple variations on the theme and the math laid out for it in huge, ridiculous, shockingly large detail, so that people like high fashion models, like females who are walking runway, can use like 8K, 10K, and 12K. Side effect is, if you are pushing towards 32K, which you should be, it expands your 32K Clean and Press progression for several years in order to get people constantly moving up. I think Clean and Press should be in people's program for at least 2 to 5 years as a dedicated path of study, so that you will get extremely, extremely good at it. If you have the time, then do the Reloaded program. You're only going to get way, way better at the most important things, and it's laid out between which complexity to use and which weight to use for tons of stuff. It is really, really big. So normally, if, say, I was training an actor for a movie, then we would run the Clean and Press program, because we have a limited amount of time. If we have just 9 months on a movie, we have months of prep in order to teach technique, and then we have 9 months of shooting we have to fill, then we're probably going to stick to the Clean and Press program. If I have like a multi-movie contract or whatever, then we put people on the Clean and Press Reloaded program, so that we are having this thing that they can get better at for years, and the weights fit in the back of a BMW so that they can be in London at the Soho Hotel and take those weights up to Edinburgh in a car without having to put them in a plane or rebox them or anything else. Everything I do has some kind of crazy plan behind it and some kind of crazy reason behind it. So I hope I answered your question, Rocket Man. What was the difference between Clean and Press Reloaded, Clean and Press simpler, meant to get you up and weight faster, Clean and Press Reloaded, more complexity for people who need to stretch lighter weights for a much longer period of time. Here's a question from James Tragos. Tragos? Can I roll my R when I'm tired? I don't know. I have speech impediments. Do you think light Indian clubs is a good rehab workout for a torn rotator cuff? Absolutely, 100%, 100%. I have a whole pile of light Indian clubs in here right now that we're running as testing. Currently, I have a set of ones, a set of twos, a set of threes, and we were going to make a whole programs to release with that. And I think that for any type of rehab, light Indian clubs is good. So especially for people who have been severely deconditioned. So as somebody who was a high level athlete, circus performer, martial artist, when I ripped my knee in half, I went straight back to the single arm heavy club program, and I started at 10 pounds, but I didn't have any shoulder injuries. If you've been severely deconditioned or have shoulder injuries, then light clubs are what you should probably be starting with. And I'm releasing a whole series of programs probably January 1st around that. It's 5 20-minute programs and a 14-week plan to do that. Because I know a lot of people who've been extraordinarily deconditioned, like military guys who've ended up with spinal injuries and been down on their back for a couple of months, right? A lot of people don't make it back from extreme injury because there simply isn't a good enough process to get their brain to move again. Light club swinging is absolutely fantastic for that idea. I know a bunch of people who like have low stage kidney failure. Sorry, closing that door. Low stage kidney failure, and they end up on dialysis or something like that. That is why I'm writing the club programs that I'm writing, people who have been bedridden in the hospital for a long period of time. I have a stunt friend who just got a hip replacement last week, 35 years old. Stunts is hard on the body, the same way circus is hard on the body, the same way MMA is hard on the body. And I'm going to be running her rehab training as well. And it will be starting with just standing up and light club swinging, because just shifting weight on a rebuilt hip or a rebuilt knee is a huge thing. So yes, light clubs, absolutely, 100%. Any type of rehab will benefit from it. Do the rehab they tell you to do at the hospital, right? They're going to probably give you 12 sessions, 6 weeks, twice a week or something like that, depending on what insurance you have. Then go into something like a 14-week light club program, and you can repeat that with ones, and then the 14-week program again with twos, and then with threes, to rebuild your basic muscular structure. Absolutely. The expansion and contraction of the rib cage from light club swinging is the same stuff that you will find in Asian medicine, the 5 elements of lung movement, which is really 5 ways that the rib cage moves in association with shoulder movement and breathing. It's all covered on accident. You don't have to know about that stuff to get the benefit of that from light club swinging. Beachmaster. Love the reference to Beastmaster, 1987, 80, something like that. Is it 84? It's right in there. It's after Conan. Great reference, Beachmaster. Have you heard of PRI? No, I haven't. I don't know what PRI is. If somebody wants to fill me in on that, I'd love to learn more about every type of training that's out there. Broseph Behemoth. Fantastic name. Seminar question. Any seminars planned near Virginia? They have decent gun laws. Well, that means that we might be able to do some of my training there. Side note, I think we're going to actually this year, because we have this space where nobody can tell us what to do, I would like to do an idea for an entirely separate channel called Empire's End, where we simply talk about like John Wick training. Like that's the whole thing. It is striking drills, throwing drills, integrated with drawing and shooting guns. And this is the kind of stuff that gets taught to high-level athletes, actors for the most part, and not really to other people, but I would like to make a whole channel about that. But I'm pretty sure I have to separate it from my normal channel for content reasons. YouTube does not like a lot of firearm or fight related content when it comes to that stuff. So I think we're gonna have to make a separate channel so that we don't make the normal channel and all the 1,000 videos on that in danger from, what do we call them? Censors, whatever they're called. People who like to censor stuff. We would like to do that. And eventually we'll travel that idea. It's really complex. For the most part, we'll be using Spartan armor training suits. We have, I think, 3 inside. We have a female and we have 2 male for really big guys, but I should probably get some mediums because I'm huge. And then the idea is you work on striking drills. Think about like Krav Maga, engaged into throwing drills, and then into drawing and shooting drills. Ridiculously awesome stuff. And I can't teach it outside of the film world until you have a place where nobody can tell you not to do it. This is the place where nobody can tell us not to do it. And we have a giant door right here. That is going to become a giant roll-up door because I want to be able to do things like pull the truck directly inside and have several cars inside of the warehouse for movement and fighting drills in and around cars in a controlled space. I used to do this with actors teaching full contact fighting to specifically females. I never really taught it to men. Women, it's really something that they really need to know. Unchoreographed reactionary full contact drills, and we do them in cars and we do them between cars. And so you stack up like 3 or 4 cars and you fight in and around cars. It's ridiculously fun. At my last place that I had over by Atwater Village, I had a parking garage that was completely empty on Saturday, Sunday. So we would set that up and do that on things like Saturday, Sunday. It's ridiculously fun. Not for me, I have to get hit the entire time, which really hurts. But as a general concept, it's fantastic. So when we start teaching that, we will need people who are qualified martial arts instructors who know how to get hit and be an uke to go through the training so that we can have a better overall training experience in the long run. Because if I just run it myself, won't be able to survive it. People hit really hard because that is the point of the training, is to people learn to hit people in real situations, moving between cars, dragging people out from under cars, opening car doors, dragging people out of cars, slamming them into walls. All the fun stuff that you don't really get to do unless you have a place where nobody can tell you what to do. Continuing on. Rocket Man question. Question is labeled, how would I progress through your kettlebell programs? I've been training for 2 years and I'm up to 18K on my adjustable kettlebell. When should I add heavy clubs into the mix? You should add heavy clubs now. Number 1, the programs, my kettlebell programs are laid out very specifically. If I'm training actors, they come in on swings. The swing program, alternating with the clean and press program. After we get a basis of that, then we combine clean, press, and swings on one day, and we integrate the Turkish Get-Up program as a B program. So it becomes swing, clean and press as A day, TGU master as a B day, and then a body flow program normally as a C day. That's the classic way that you get people in the greatest shape in the least amount of time. If you are not somebody like an actor, if you've had a bunch of injuries, then you might come in one program before that, which is Intro to Kettlebell. Intro to Kettlebell is there to get people to not hurt themselves if they've been moderately deconditioned. TOI is if people have been fully deconditioned for injury. I myself have been fully deconditioned by injury at several points in my life, and I know a lot of people who have been fully deconditioned who cannot start at the swing program. This is a problem because it requires people to be radically honest with themselves and figure out where their starting place really is. If you cannot stand all the way up, then TOI, training for deconditioned individuals, is probably where you start. If you can stand all the way up, but you're pretty deconditioned, you haven't worked out in years, most people will start with cycles of Intro to Kettlebell. It's fairly gentle. It's just there to try to get people to rack the kettlebell without hurting themselves and build up their basic core attributes of picking things up and then picking things up to shoulder height and then learning to change hands back and forth. It's building the foundation for the swing program. If you're a fairly healthy person, then you start at the swing program, and that you can run that 2 to 3 days a week. There are 4 formats in there because I overwrite literally everything: a 10-minute format, a 15-minute format, 20-minute, and a 30-minute format. Most people will use the 10-minute format, and they will go up in weight. If people cannot go up in weight, then we go into the longer formats, adding more strength and endurance. But the swing program is generally focused on that 6 rep to 20 rep range, which is really the endurance power range. Pretty standard hardstyle kettlebell stuff. It's just my program is, of course, ridiculously like 17 times bigger than anybody else's because that's the way I write things. After that, you get into clean and press, swings, clean and press, then get-ups. After that, it goes deck squats. After that, it goes snatches for the most part. So excellent question. That is how you progress through there. If you're up to an 18K on your swings and stuff, your goal is a minimum 24K. So you got to keep running swings and you got to keep running clean and press until you get to minimum 24K. You would like to push a little bit beyond that, but think if you get to 24K, 16K becomes super doable for absolutely ever. If you're at 18K, then that means something like maybe 12K is super doable forever, right? So the whole idea of pushing up in weight towards 32, the goal is that eventually 24K becomes infinitely doable. That's the idea. The goal of going up in weight is to make endurance with the medium weights much easier. 16 to 24K is pretty standard, like backpack loadout. If you're going backpacking or if you're going backcountry, a light loadout is in that range of 50 pounds. So training above 50 pounds, getting into the 70-pound range. The 32K range means that you will endure tons of stuff forever, way, way, way better. Riaz Karamali. Riaz Karamali. Question. Just started your Nerd Math swing program and not sure if I understand it correctly. Am I supposed to be doing only 10 minutes of swings and a workout to start? Yeah, that's not easy, right? If it's easy, get a heavier weight. If it's easy, get a heavier weight. Because 10 sets of 6 is 60 reps, and you walk your way up to 10 sets of 20, which is 200 reps, right? The goal of that program is a giant mathematical rolling program so that people can get up in weight towards at least the 24K and then at least the 32K, and then you can make it to the long programs, which get much longer than that. But yes, in the beginning, most people need to focus on 10-minute workouts. If you're trying to getting people to the point where they can work out with kettlebell for an hour is crazy. I have a lot of people tell me that they work out for 2 hours, and I am super duper skeptical of that. So skeptical of that, it's not crazy. The only guys who work out for 2 hours are professional athletes, unless you're just sitting around the entire time. None of my programs have any wasted time in it. Our bodyweight programs are hard. They are hard 30 minutes. The club program is a hard 32 minutes. The short club program is a hard 20 minutes. If it's not hard, you probably need a heavier weight. In the beginning, if you need to push your swing program, push it up to 48K. Trust me, 10 sets of 20 with a 48K is hard for everybody on the planet who is not a professional kettlebell lifter. Yes, 10-minute time frame is what we are looking for. We're trying to teach people to actually work well for 10 minutes, right? You can go in the gym and not get anything done in 10 minutes. You do a set on the bench press and you wait 2 minutes, right? And maybe you get 5 sets in 10 minutes, but that's really just your bench press warm up, right? You can do dead sprints for 10 minutes and that's incredibly hard, right? Think of kettlebells as trying to build up to the point where you're doing dead sprints, building up to 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. That's why we go to 20 reps, because 30 seconds should take 20 reps, and then it's a 1-for-1, and then you're going up in weight, and it's turning into a harder sprint, and a harder sprint. The goal is to get people to do the basics very, very well so that they can go up in weight, so that they can learn to endure longer with lighter weights. Dark Nowitzki is looking forward to the LA seminar this weekend. Excellent. I assume I'll meet him tomorrow. Patrick Sims, program question. Program suggestion. Interesting. Would you make an isometric program with 0 RM, please? I would love to. I simply don't have time. I have 30 programs on the slate right now. I just prevised. The whole point of this is nobody can tell me what to do or how to set up. We prevised 7 programs with order in progress. So currently what we have is my classic training strategy, the General Physical Preparedness Program, TOI, Intro to Kettlebell Swings, Clean and Press, Turkish Get-Up. I have to finish squat soon. I have to finish snatch soon. As a parallel program, we have 10 levels of heavy club swinging, mill squat program, which is going to be reshot and put out in a better format because I didn't get to edit that one. Somebody else edited that one. I don't like the way it's done. And then the Basis of Strength program, which is massive 5-year-long program. What I also need to finish is the single arm program. That's all just my general physical preparedness program, right? A 5 to 10 year general physical preparedness program. What we have coming up in the new year, we're trying to get this done for January 1st, and that's why I'm teaming up with Order in Progress. Order in Progress is Will Safford, formerly of BJJ Fanatics. He's the guy who is a world champion brown belt from Atos in San Diego. Love this guy. Met him on a beach in San Diego a couple years ago. No, in Hawaii a couple years ago. And we're turning a bunch of ideas that we've been talking about for years into a BJJ program. Think general physical preparedness, my core training stuff. Anybody can do it. It will improve anything that you do. What we're making with him is a sport-specific program. So it will be all based on clubs, because I taught him clubs, and he was like, this is amazing. His BJJ got much better. His injury rate went down. He feels better than he's ever felt. So we're turning what I was talking to him about into its own specific BJJ program. We have 5 of them, 90% done now. We have to shoot 3 more levels. We're finishing shooting all of that in December so that that can be out. So we're going to have general physical preparedness, the thing that I normally do. TOI, Intro to Kettlebell, Swings, Clean and Press, and then all the basic club stuff. And we're going to have a separate BJJ club program that we need to work on. So I would love to make an isometric program with 0 RM, but it's not going to happen in 2024. It would have to happen after that because there's just so much to do. And that's not even counting the 5 Indian club programs that I have to do now in order to add to TOI. The Training for Overweight and Deconditioned Individuals program. The reason that is a subscription program is because I have hired a full-time editor to work only on that program, because that is going to get a program update January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way through next year, because that program should be bigger, because that is the most under-trained market that there is. There's at least 250 million people just in the continental 48 United States who need a program that will actually help them. And I am very, very passionate about that topic. I have worked with people with disabilities, neurological disabilities, injuries my whole life, and nobody is really addressing that. Everybody wants to train just superstar athletes. So I have my track for general physical preparedness, where I train the people that I think need to be trained. Then we're going to have the track with Order in Progress for the superstar world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes. And then we're going to be working with Badland Outfitters, and we will have a Boo Hurt track as well that's specific to the most ridiculous sport that there is, full armored combat fighting, which is the most brilliant thing to watch. They keep trying to get me to do it, and I really like my knee, and I'm afraid somebody's going to destroy my knee. That's what happens when you've already ripped a leg in half and you haven't been able to walk for a year. You get a little gun shy around people hitting you in the knee with a metal axe. You know, Well, they'll talk me into it eventually. They put a helmet on me a couple weeks ago and were hitting me in the head with metal axes. It was pretty survivable if the armor's good. You definitely need to go back to working on neck strength with the iron neck, the ring neck. What's the one? I don't know. I have it in here. I brought it back just to train for that. Here's another recommendation. This has got to be a London one. Leek Street Tunnel has 360-degree graffiti, but I think it's cobbled road, so you would need to check it. I have no problem with cobbled roads. I do not like smooth floors when you're training something like staff. I like the environments to be shithouse crazy because people learn a lot about how they're walking the second they're not walking on level ground. When we did the Orcas Island thing, we trained outside every day for staff on slope, and then we trained on the beach, then we trained on a rocky precipice cliff, then we went and trained in the forest, and people got really good at the basics, walking backwards through the brush and over broken logs, because the human brain will do that if you set up the experiment and the conditions correctly. So I have no problem with cobblestone streets. I think that they're absolutely fantastic. Ooh, here's a great one. Hugh McLeod, his friend owns Dune Castle. Where's Dune Castle? That is... I've been to Dune. Is that the castle? Somebody call me about Dune Castle. Let's do Dune Castle. I would love to do... Where did I live? I lived at Bardowie Castle for like 6 months. But I think Bardowie Castle has been sold and somebody has it as private residence now. Super jealous of that. I tried to get my friend to buy a 40-room castle for a ridiculously low amount, like 1.3 million pounds, just so that we could have it to do training at, but he was not interested. I thought that was lame. So apparently I need to make at least 1.5 million so I can buy that castle so we can do all the cool stuff. No, I'm good. Which one's Dune Castle? Show me which one Dune Castle is. I've been there. I'm 90% sure. Dune Castle. Yeah, I've been to Dune Castle. Where is this? This is in Dune. Yeah, I know it's in Scotland. I've been there. Yes, let's do Dune Castle. We shopped it. It's now it's run by now the Park Service or something, who runs something in there. Am I thinking about the right castle? Let's do Dune Castle. I already went there last year and looked at Dune Castle. But if you know somebody who owns Dune Castle, let's do Dune Castle. That is 100% what we want to do. You know, it doesn't have to have a roof on it. I don't care, right? I want it to be rad. I want to do something like Dune Castle because that is rad training. You'll never forget that, right? The training that we do already is already unforgettable. If you combine it with a location like Dune Castle, that would be rad. It's on the precipice of 2 rivers, right? It's on that hill. I've literally been there. I've walked around it so many times. I think we shot in there for a movie as well. We shot some scenes in there. So I think I've been inside of it and everything else. Yes, I have been here. We shot in Dune Castle. Yes, that is 100%. Whoever owns Dune Castle, we'll do it in Dune Castle. And I think Dune has a little church in it as well, but it just got bought by somebody for some incredibly awesome price, like 70,000 euro. Because I also wanted that church as like a Scotland location. I would just wanted to buy it and just make it the Scottish location. I love Scotland so much. Scotland is where a lot of my family is from. It's where a lot of the people where I'm from in the Midwest settled, as they were kicked out after the Highland clearances, after the 5th Jacobite Rebellion, and they ended up all in the Cumberland Plateau, which I mentioned earlier, which is where I also want to do seminars in the future. Dune Castle, 100%, I am super in. And it's a Devil Dog wishing to all Devil Dogs happy 248th birthday. Wow, it's 248 now. Thank you, Devil Dogs, for all you do for us and for the world. Question about single versus 2-hand club programming. Why do you program volume cycles for 1-hand club but time under tension for 2-hand club? Thank you. Because they're totally different things. Two-handed club is survivable because you have two hands on the weight and you can adjust your grip on one hand or the other in order to endure longer. Two-handed club is time under tension program all the way up to a 100-pound club. Very, very simple. Single arm club is pure strength training for one hand. One is strength endurance training, one is pure strength training. You have to do volume cycles. If you try to do time under tension, nobody will survive a real time under tension program in the beginning with club. In the beginning, most people, when you stack up to something like 20 sets of 5, are burning. Absolutely everybody I know, even wrestlers, martial artists, do not have that type of grip strength. So you develop it by not altering the intensity, but by altering the volume. I have never seen somebody run a successful, progressive program up to 50 pounds trying to do time under tension with one hand. I've never seen it work. I've seen a bunch of people try. I've never seen it work. It is strength training. It is strength training. It is strength training done as endurance training, and the amount of time that you have is the amount of time the other hand does its work. So for 5 reps, in the beginning, 5 reps is usually taking people about 20 seconds. It's really alternating back and forth for 20 seconds. And keeping your technique good is the only important part. When people try to do single arm time under tension, they get tired. They micro bend the elbow and they give themselves tennis elbow, and then they think that clubbing is bad for them. And it's because they absolutely refuse to listen to the most important thing, that it is strength training. It is not time under tension training, it is strength training. The goal is to keep yourself alive so you can train more. The goal is not to get hurt. If you try to do it as time under tension, you will microbend your elbow, you will destroy your elbow. Don't do it. Please listen to me. For the love of God, I've seen so many people mess this up. It's crazy. If you have ultra micro loadable, if you took the light plates from bells of steel and you drilled a bunch of holes in them and you got them from 1.25 pounds down to like 0.675 or whatever, you might be able to do it, but you will never get the strength training benefit of it. Usually when people do single arm club and they do the program right, they get super shredded in a very short period of time because they're going up in weight and they're treating it as strength training, right? If you treat it like time under tension training, you're treating it as fancy club swinging, which is entirely different, James A. Ranson, kettlebell question. Start, stop, training, success. Day job, stood up, all works to the opposite, seated, get lower back discomfort in sitting. Okay, so here it is. It's a weirdly framed question. Kettlebell question. Start, stop, training, success. He has a day job, stood up all day at work at a bench. So it's opposite to get seated. Get lower back muscle discomfort when sitting. All the way up. Just a question of stretching. Yes, for the most part. Kettlebell training forever. Squeezing the quads and squeezing the glutes. If you do not squeeze the quads and squeeze the glutes, all the stress goes into the lower back. This is why a bunch of people say kettlebelling is bad for their back. It's because they are not following the cues and squeezing their glutes and straightening their legs. But you should be doing extension of the spine and flexion of the spine after every kettlebell session. Minimum 2 minutes of extension of the spine, minimum 2 minutes of flexion of the spine. If you just drop the kettlebell and go to work, probably not going to be great unless you already have a high level of flexibility from something like gymnastics, dance, or martial arts. Even I can touch the ground at the drop of a hat. I have excellent hamstring mobility from years of martial arts, kung fu, kicking behind your head, and doing aerial. And I still do the stretch. The kettlebell contracts all the muscles of your posterior chain. If you contract them, but you do not re-lengthen them at the end of training, you're probably going to experience a lot of discomfort. You're going to make your life worse instead of better. The point of the cool down is to counteract what you are doing in training. It is to re-lengthen the muscles. 2 minutes is the minimum time frame for that. Not 30 seconds, not 1 minute, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You can do multiple sets of 1 minute, just do 2 minutes. It's gonna work way better. 2 minutes, and then if I'm really lifting heavy, and I take an extra minute on each one, and I make it a 3 minute stretch. Granted, I am old. I am in my mid 40s and I have been broken a shit ton. It's very important to deload the body after you load it. Dawn Summers, question about seminars. Thank you for framing it as a question about seminars. Do you ever do seminars geared toward deconditioned people? I don't really do that. I ask people to work through the deconditioned program. Normally, when people are extremely deconditioned, coming to a seminar is way more work than they can reasonably handle with mental acuity. When people are deconditioned, as they get more and more tired, their brain starts to shut down. So running a deconditioned program and then running an ITK program will build people up to the point where they have enough experience that they can pay attention in a seminar. Maybe we could explore a deconditioned seminar format that's much shorter. My seminars are already basically endurance marathons. The 2-day kettlebell seminar we're doing tomorrow is hard on people. People should have been kettlebelling for at least 2 years before they try to come to that, because it will be 8 hours of kettlebell lifting 2 days in a row. Our staff seminars, the 5-day staff seminar is hard on people. You should have done your basis of strength program. You should do your kettlebell swing program. You should do everything you can. You should probably be doing 2-a-days for at least the month or 2 before a 5-day seminar, because I am super determined to make sure everybody gets the best possible learning experience that they can. And the better they are at being conditioned and recovery, the better it all goes. We could maybe explore a deconditioned format that's of smaller length, so that we can keep people as a positive end goal experience. So there's a thing when you train people live, it needs to start with a positive experience and it needs to end on a positive experience so that people get an overall positive learning effect. What we never let anybody do is quit a seminar on a negative note. Absolutely not. Nobody gets out of my seminars on a negative note. I had a guy last year come to a seminar and he tried to quit in the first 5 minutes because he wasn't breathing, he was nervous, and he wasn't breathing properly. And we altered we stopped, we got him breathing, everybody did the breathing drills, and he learned what he didn't know. What he didn't know was about how to breathe under stress. But we absolutely don't let people quit on a negative point. We make sure that he got through it, and he stayed for the whole 2.5-day Staff Mace Club seminar, and he got through it, and it changed his life forever, because we do not let people end on a negative association. Absolutely not. I will not tolerate it. So we could maybe explore different formats for deconditioned programming that are different format, that are shorter, so that we can, it's so that it's more mentally focusable. When people are deconditioned, they burn a ton of mental energy. Ask me how I know. Trying to recondition. So getting people to do reconditioning programs at home helps them build their confidence so that they are capable of learning in a group environment. But we can explore that. That's a great idea. Nobody can tell us what to do here, so we could do that. That's a great idea. I'll have to think about that a lot more. Yes, somebody's saying Lady Marine. The craziest Marine I know is actually, last I checked, she was a major female. If you ever saw the movie Iron Eagle, that's basically her. She was flying planes by the time she was 15. She'd already somehow gotten 300 hours in the Marine simulators by the time she was like 18. I went to college with her. She was a chemical engineer like me, so I was with her in classes all through the 4 years. She made me take the Marine Corps History of Warfare with her at USC, the only guy there who was not in the service. It was all Marines and me, and she dragged me to that class just so that we could study for it together. And that was the History of Warfare as taught by the Marine Corps. Super fun class. And last I checked, she was a major, and last time she swung through here, she was on her way to, I think, Pacific Command to give a lecture or something. Crazy. How do you recommend programming Turkish get-ups? I wrote a giant program about it called Turkish Get-Up Master, which is like a multi-year strategy to make people better at all the fundamental pieces of Turkish get-up. If you want the simple answer, you start with movement 1 on the ground. Press, do 3 reps on each side. Do press, roll, 3 reps on each side. Press, roll to elbow, 3 reps on each side. Press, roll, elbow, hand, 3 reps on each side. Press, roll, elbow, hand, hip pass, 3 reps on each side. Then you go to the top. You will do clean, 3 reps on each side. Clean and press, 3 reps on each side. Clean and press, step back, opposite leg, 3 reps on each side. Clean press, step back, find the ground, 3 reps on each side. 3 reps of drop the hip, then connect the whole thing together. That's the short, easy way that you teach somebody clean and press in the minimum amount of time. But I did write a giant program about it because most people are fundamentally lacking one of the basic movement patterns, and just showing them moves tends not to work. People need to actually develop the neurological skill of all the places in the middle. Yeah, nobody's going to let me do any type of gun coaching seminars or fight coaching with gun seminars in Australia or the UK. Absolutely not. Greetings from the Republic of Turkey. Turkey has an excellent arms industry, by the way. Canik comes from there. Some other stuff that comes from there. There's a new one that comes from there that's really cool. Do you ever come to Eastern Canada? I used to go to Toronto all the time because I had a buddy who was shooting at the studios up in Toronto for many years, where they shot all the, the USA shows for years. There's an old armory on the, I think the north side of Toronto. I might have that completely wrong, away from the lake. And so I used to go up there every year, several times a year, but I have not been up there since this show wrapped several years ago. But yeah, I've kicked around Toronto a bunch. Spike TFA says thank you. Thank you very much for watching, Spike. Are we going to release club program level 3 to 7 separately? I'm going to yell. Ralph, can we release program 3 to 7 separately soon for the Basis of Strength club program? Yeah, he says yes. Yeah, so yeah, that's yes. I know it's in the works. I know we just got wrapped up in Intro to Kettlebell program release. We're trying to get more people on the team here so that we can do all this stuff way faster. We're currently at me plus 3, but we need to be me plus 5, really. Delivery? Cool.
You're gonna like this.
All right. We just got a big delivery here. People always love the box openings here because there's always something crazy. It's welding equipment or welding helmets or, you know, big boxes of metal or something that gets delivered. We're gonna have like several thousand feet of copper wire delivered for the Flowing Dutchman seminar, December 9th and 10th. We're going to make all the maces. So we're building a mace jig in there right now. Where's our mace jig? It's right there. All the handles. Oh, I can't get out the door. Ouch. Hold on. Cut through the. I gotta clean this part of the shop. We're gonna wrap all the handles. Can I get through there? I don't think I can. We're gonna wrap all the handles in copper. We're going back to some more traditional metals for mace because it's super cool. And we're doing wire wrap because wire wrap has been on things like mace handles, sword handles, and axe handles for all of human history. So we're gonna go back to doing that. See, people are commenting that they have been radically deconditioned by lifestyle and diet choices. The modern world is not, most of the food in the modern world is not real food. Almost everything that's processed is getting worse and worse every year. A Snickers bar in 1980 was not nearly what's in a Snickers bar now. Every year they replace ingredients. As a biochemical engineer, I'm now generally horrified reading the ingredients list, especially of vegan food. Vegan food has some of the most horrifying ingredients in it. People think they're being healthy by eating vegan crisps or something like that. Those things are the most atrocious things that there are. We really all need to get back to eating. I eat like a dozen eggs a day because ironically, it's the best possible thing you can eat. That's actually the cheapest. And a pound of ground beef is like my base diet. But just getting like 2 rotisserie chickens, 4 pounds of ground beef, and at least 3 dozen eggs a week, and starting from there is a great way to start resetting your life if you've been radically deconditioned. I just hard boil a dozen eggs every day. You eat a couple of them as snacks as you're going about your day. But, 3 hard-boiled eggs, think they're 80 calories a piece. 3 of them's 240 calories. But think you can eat 6 hard-boiled eggs, which is good once you get over the addiction to processed food. A lot of processed food has chemicals in it now that is specifically there to be addictive. Specifically there to be addictive. So there is a process of going through a, what do we call it? A process of altering. Hold on, I'll be with you in a minute. Of getting a lot of that stuff out of your body, and it's exercise and actually eating good, clean food. It gets harder and harder and harder over time. Cali Prepper says he's having a back surgery, neck and shoulder surgery, probably going to have rehab, but after that, where do you think I should start? I think you should, if you're having a severe surgery like that, 4 discs being stabilized, neck and shoulder surgery, that you're going to go through a lot of rehab, and you should do every bit of rehab that you should possibly do, that you can get all the rehab you can possibly get. And then I think you should be down to like half pound or 1 pound Indian clubs, start at a limited time under tension, and run 5 different programs. I'm writing this program to have it out by January, but you have to go through all of your rehab first and get all of your doctor approvals first, because that is a big, big surgery. I wish you the best, Cali Prepper, but we can rebuild absolutely everybody. We'll be rebuilding my friend who just had a hip replacement. I've rebuilt tons of people. The most important thing is to live a pain-free life. It's to get less pain. You don't get rid of pain at all, right? You trade pain, right? You are uncomfortable in training so that you can be more comfortable the rest of the time, right? But life is pain. Fundamental Buddhism here, the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, right? Life is suffering. You can't get away from it. You have to accept it, blah, 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 right? If people who do really hardcore sports and stuff get really messed up, and you have to get back from that, and getting back from that is movement. The reason we're putting in the fancy Indian club training is to help people recover from that in a structured way, because that is not talked about enough at all. And there are at least 250 million people who are severely deconditioned who really need that. And people get really deconditioned when they get surgeries like that, and people are not helping them regain the correct movement patterns in order to get back to being really functional. All right, guys, sorry, I'm going to have to cut it here. We did an hour. I'm sorry if I did not get to your questions. We were going to try to go back to doing this once a week. So if you did not get your question answered, please come back next week. I try to answer as many as I can, but I have somebody out front with a giant truck who needs me to run a forklift right now so I can offload. I don't know what we're getting that needs a forklift, but something needs a forklift. Have a good day, everybody. I hope you all have a good day. Do your training. Train like it's your job. Do all the best things you can. Eat good food. Live a better life. Learn to ride horses. Go dirt biking. Go mountain biking. Take martial arts. Learn to sword fight. Do all the fun stuff. Have a good day, guys, and we'll see you later.